And welcome everybody to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and there's a live button, share, thanks button down the bottom, where you hit it and give me money. So that's always a great thing. Nobody's here yet, so I can say whatever nonsense I want. Oh, somebody's here now. Okay, I gotta stop. All right, Steve, is it you out there first? You didn't let Todd beat you, did you? Let's see. And so today is November 4th. Team is 7-2. Get ready to have a presidential election tomorrow. There's nothing going on in Washington. Yeah. And Steve got in over you, Todd. Barely, but Brad beat you too. Todd, you're third. Come on, Todd. You gotta be ready for the game. All right, I'm just teasing. Glad you're here. We got a few people jumping in now. Somebody said, "Oh, the country's kind of anxious about whatever." I was like, "Dude, I live in Washington D.C. area. They're boarding up everything, fencing up everything. Get ready for the election tomorrow. I don't know who's going to win, but whoever wins will soldier on after that. But just don't burn down the house." That's it. But the Washington Commanders actually have everybody's attention. I know some of the presidents. Bill Clinton said this one time that he liked the Washington Redskins quarterback back then because it was one person that could make everybody quit bugging him during his Monica days. So that's kind of what it's like. Jaden Daniels is doing great. He could be, if they put Jaden Daniels on the ballot for around here, he'd win on anything. So everybody's pretty excited about, the Commanders, how they're doing. 7-2. They haven't been this way since '96, and they were 7-1. They lost the second one, that 7-2. So everything is, rocking along. I wrote a column for Odyssey.com, AUDACY, which is 106.7 The Fan. And I basically said trade deadlines at 4 o'clock Tuesday, and then the election's a few hours later. So by the time we get exhausted talking about the Commanders tomorrow, trade-wise, it'll be time to watch whoever's going to run the country on there. Not that I expect an answer tomorrow night. But I said, listen, this team has proven it's pretty good. And it's got a shot, I think, at a Super Bowl. I don't expect them, but you got to go all in because there's nothing to say that next year's are better or can improve. These kind of years, you get breaks and get things going. Doesn't mean next year does that. So you got a chance. They need a DN. They need a number one corner. They need a receiver. They need a lot of things. If you get one of them, if you think you can, I wouldn't say, well, we'd like to keep our draft picks. You can make a move and do something now because you can get to the playoffs with this secondary and D line. You can't win far in the playoffs with this secondary and D line. You've got to go get other things. Brad asked, last president to attend a Skins game. Been a long time. I remember Al Gore came to one in '95, I think it was, when he was vice president. But before that, you're probably looking, Nixon, I think, came. I don't think LBJ did or Reagan did. So it might be Nixon with the last one. Nixon, of course, gave his friend George Allen, they were friends from LA back in the day, gave him a play. They lost 9 yards on it, moved them out of field goal range, and they lost the game by a point or two. So presidents aren't always welcome. Jimmy Carter, did he come? I don't know. Todd, are you saying he did or guessing? I don't remember Carter. I don't know. I didn't this is a long time ago. It's 40 years ago. I didn't cover games 40 years ago so much. I covered 40 years ago. I was covering preps and small colleges. Okay, so Larry's wants Travis Hunter. All right. I seen this Marshawn pictures of him at the airport, which are obviously faked. So Just Moody, not having many turnovers is really helping. Yeah, they barely have turned the ball over at all. It's been pretty amazing. That one weird play, against the Giants, which I'm still not quite sure how they ruled who got that ball, but okay. The refs sucked, by the way, against the Giants game. Couldn't they screwed Washington on one fourth down placement, and then they helped them on the second one, but then it got overturned. George, do I have a sense of how the coaching staff feels about the receiver group? I mean, nothing, where one of them's whispering in my ear, I hate these people. I mean, or they'll always say they love them. the key is what do they do in the offseason? I mean, Noah Brown's done more than you could expect, but they really need a three. Ertz hasn't quite been the three. I know he's a tight end, but he hadn't been the three I thought he would be. But he's still good. But McCaffrey hasn't quite moved up as much as I thought he would. And pretty much on the two receivers. De'Ami Brown's gets one here and there. He had a nice play yesterday. It really helped him a lot. Larry, can he get through the steel curtain? That's a good question. I think so. I think it. I think Pittsburgh can win this game. Surprised Washington's favored, to be honest, but I guess it's because they're home. But if they can, basically, if Washington's D line can put some pressure on Pittsburgh's offense, and the secondary holds on, they can. I mean, this team has proven it can score. So they can win it, but I can't have them win every game. I can't go skins tangibles like Larry did, and they win these games. And you're going to lose some of these games. I'd rather they lose Pittsburgh than Philly next week. Philly will be the Thursday night game. You want to win Philly game because that's a big division. Of all the tiebreakers, I mean, you got two Philly games, two Dallas games that are important, the Atlanta game because of maybe the wild card, and then the Pittsburgh game if we're ranking importance of games, I think right now. Clayton, Noah gets PI calls. Yeah, I mean, he's a big physical guy on there. Joe asked why Danny Dimes has our number. Yeah, that's something, runs around the edge, scores touchdowns. He's Danny Penny, penny foolish anywhere else, but he does great here. Brad, what's the difference between resting on your laurels with the season already and unabated success and trying to capture lightning in a bottle? I mean, what's the balance? I go for it, man. Go for it because you never know if it's going to come back again. Do I think they win the division, George? Yeah. I mean, Philly's going to be tough too. If you win those Philly games, you win the division. I'm going to say yes at this point. Why would I say no? Let Philly. Well, there's time to say no later. Bob, any tours this week, or am I staying away from the closures and madness downtown? Oh yeah, definitely staying away from downtown this week. It's not that I expect riots and violence in the street, but there's so much security everywhere. The White House is fenced off. Good White House area around there is fenced off. Capitol Hill is fenced off. Howard University, where the Kamala is going to have, or Kamala, I can't say her name right, is going to have her big win or lose party. A lot of DCs, a lot of people are taking off. It's going to be a ghost townish kind of thing in a way. All the politicians are not here because they're in their home districts trying to get elected. So it's kind of a quiet day for this. Chiefs or TV, Ryan? Chiefs. Ryan, Trump or Harris? Yeah, kiss my butt, Forrest. I don't ever talk about who I vote for. But this will be my 12th election, a presidential. I've never missed an election of any kind since 1978. My father was big on voting. And people were back then, they were big on voting. So more so than today. So I hope you go out and vote. For whoever you vote, we'll add them up later. But be part of the process. Go out there and vote. And then you can complain about whatever. That's what I said. If you don't vote, you can't complain. All right, Jimmy Carter attended the Monday night game, Dallas, Washington, 78. There you go. Thanks, Lou. I couldn't remember. I don't remember things like that. Let's see. In 78, I started. Matter of fact, next Sunday is my 46th anniversary as a reporter and columnist. So it'll be year 47 start Monday when we talk again. And Friday is this show's 4th anniversary. About 20 million views in 4 years. I can't thank you all enough. Who would have guessed? Any news on trade deadline, James E? Nope, none. They keep their mouth shut here. Jeff, thank you so much for kicking in. See, Jeff shows you how to do it. Hit that $ thing down the bottom. You can donate to Rick's cause to eliminate poverty. I'm stuck eating one slice of pizza some places. Had a piece of pizza today at Costco. Extra cheese. I'd never had pizza at Costco till recently when I had the pepperoni. Everybody said, no, you got to eat the cheese. So I was in Costco today, got a slice of cheese. It was good. Wasn't the best pizza, but it was $2 basically. It's $2.80 for that and a drink. I'm not complaining. Good cheese, the sauce wasn't much, and the crust was just okay. But it was better than the Wawa pizza I had recently. So, and that was okay, and it was $10 for a large. So, can't complain about everything. Um, Ryan thinks it's gonna be a close. Well, either the game or the president thing. Yeah. Dallas Cowgirls quarterback. Oh, I saw what you do all there. Out 4 weeks now. Okay, I hadn't seen that report yet. I've been busy today, chasing so much. Yeah, Cowboys are cooked. So much for them. How much will the district spend on RFK, Antoinette? Well, one of the other things about the election tomorrow nobody's talking about is in DC, the city council has 5 seats up for election. Out of these, how many are changing over and how many of these new people love or hate, uh, the RFK situation. The mayor can promise all she wants. The council controls the money. So that tomorrow is a big day on the council, how that shakes out. Just Moody, the pizza looked good. Yeah, I put a picture up of it. It looked better than it tasted, I think. The pizza was good. The cheese was good. That was the best part of it. And that, to me, when you rank a pizza, it's cheese, sauce, crust, or in that order. Well, this one had great cheese, nothing for sauce, and the crust was there just okay. I give it a B. Bob, do you see where the Terps open their basketball schedule tonight? Yeah, I didn't play in Manhattan. I've been too busy to watch that. Isaiah, I guess that's his. Hot dog, chicken bake, and then the pizza. Well, I'd always gotten the hot dog. That's why I'd never had Costco pizza till now, because the hot dog's $1.50. It's a decent, legit hot dog and a drink for $1.50. Why would I bother with anything else? I don't go to Costco a lot anyway, but that's why I'd never had pizza there before. Todd, thank you so much for kicking in. Do appreciate it. Whoever wins the election is going to raise my taxes, no doubt of that. So, did you notice that gas prices went down today? I always laugh at this. Right before the presidential election, it dropped like 30 cents overnight around where I live. I live just outside of D.C. In Southern Maryland. Let's see. Just Moody, Cowboys backup. Who is the Cowboys backup? I don't even remember offhand. Daniel, there you are. Who you got for tonight's game? What is tonight's game? I have Kansas City -8.5 over Tampa. I'll take Kansas to the City till they lose. Got to keep going winning. Todd's listening to Terps game. There you go. I'm an old Terp. Let's see. It's been 42 years since I graduated Maryland. At 50, you get to walk again at the spring graduation and wear the gold robes and be a gold Terp. I hope to be there. Hopefully, I'm still alive and can do it. Do you think we hold our picks, not trade up in the draft? Well, Brent, one thing I'll say about the picks for next season, if things go as we think, they're going to be picking 25th or later, not quite like the number 2. So it's okay to let go of some of those picks a little bit because we basically moved down around everywhere. Cooper Rush is the backup. Okay, I don't know much about him, Brad. I don't know much about Cooper Rush. All right, Daniel, out of all the games you picked to win yesterday, only 4 lost. I had a decent day yesterday. What can I say? Wasn't worse. I've had worse days. I get to keep my shirt for this week's Beating the Books. My best pick was the upset one. I took New England over Tennessee. Tennessee stinks, which is great because Washington plays them later. Let's see. What's the best tip on how to save money, Ryan? Don't buy a big fancy car. Buy something cheaper. My car I've had since 2006. What's that? Got almost 300,000 miles on it. I haven't had a car payment in 17 years. And it looks like hell. It doesn't want to go up hills. Neither do I. Doesn't want to go fast. Neither do I. The radio doesn't play very loud. I don't hear so good. I mean, I lost most of the paint on the hood. Lost most of my hair on my head. So we kind of are growing old together. So I don't, if you got kids or whatever, send them to community college. Don't go fancy. Don't spend your money just because you got it, because one day you won't. I'm facing an 8th layoff in 11 years. Whew, good thing I knew how to save my money for rainy days because it rained a lot. What's a good win-loss record right there? Dan, you talking about the end of the year? I think Washington will win 11. maybe 12. Can't pick them every week. That's not being objective. No parents have to make a trade for a back end help. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they didn't make any trades, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did too. And both things could be true, as they say. Which DC sports team wins the championship next, Ryan? Well, it'll be the Commanders in February, so they're next. No, I mean, really, Wizards sucks. You can't go there. The Nationals are still rebuilding. The Caps, while they started off well here, I can't see them winning a title. So I guess I'll go Commanders. What the heck? Brent, if you could trade our first, second, and third for a top 15, would you? No. And keep the extra third? No. I mean, who am I trading it for? Daniel, buy a pre-2024 Toyota Tacoma. Wow. Some Tacoma has a 1.5 million miles. Wow. I mean, you've got to drive 1.5 million miles for starters. I can't tell you how many miles I've driven. I've been driving for 48 years. But I don't know how many miles I've driven. Probably, I don't know. I've driven 1 million. Joe, Dennis Allen got fired by New Orleans. If you read the New Orleans press release, what a great piece of BS that was. It said, we've fired Dennis Allen. He's an excellent coach. Had some really bad things happen this season. Wasn't his fault. And we wish him well because he's the greatest. And so why'd you fire him at midseason if he's an excellent coach who had some bad breaks and wasn't bitching about it? Should have just said that Rev Astor can't win a game and we're getting rid of him. At least be honest about it. Todd, probably the Capitals. They are playing well. And I think at the end of the season they're going to play well because Ovi's going to be firing for that Gretzky record. Third and the fifth for Max Crosby. Carlson. Can I give you a fourth and Emmanuel Forbes? I wrote a column today for 106.7 The Fan, and I said, hey, include Emmanuel Forbes in your deal because some people still think he might be worth something. He's a former first-round pick from 2 years ago. Maybe they think, yeah, Washington, you don't know how to use him. Maybe you can lower around on the picks and get rid of him because he didn't play yesterday. I didn't see him in any snap counts. That's the second time in 4 weeks. The third game was 6 snaps, and the other game was 23. They've given up on him. They're just holding him for insurance right now. And if you could trade him, I would trade him. Look at Jahan Dotson. Everybody's like, ooh, Jahan Dotson's had 7 catches for Philly. Take that, Eagles. That pays back some of the Donovan McNabb trade. Brent, Toyota 4Runners, which is what I do have, and Tahoe are the best SUVs ever. Yeah, I mean, I've got 270,000 plus miles on my 4Runner. And people walk up to me in the parking lot. I'm telling you, this car is all lost its paint, scratch, beat to hell. And they go, hey, man, you want to sell that? And I'm like, what car do you think I'm standing next to? This one? You want to buy my 4Runner? And somebody's like, yeah, I'll give you $5,000. I'm like, what? At 270,000 miles, you don't know if the key's going to turn tomorrow. But they say people want to buy them because they want to go off-roading with them or whatever. And I thought I should have grabbed the money, but whatever. Let's see, the Wine Fox. There was no presser, I guess, on the New Orleans coach. That's pretty typical, really. It's a coward way of doing it from a front office end. I've seen coaches who were fired who had goodbye pressers, which I think you should do. Gruden wanted to have one, and he wanted to go say goodbye to the team, and they wouldn't let him. Though I think Gruden should have just gone down to the locker room and say goodbye to everybody. Are they physically going to grab him? I don't think so. Charles, Wizards suck. Yeah, got that right. Raymond, Forbes is so finished. What was Ron doing here? Well, Ron was dreaming too much. Commander, we need defenses to stop the run. Who can we pick up tomorrow? That's the hard part. Everybody's looking for a receiver. I've seen at least a half dozen teams that are trying to get receiver. Washington could use another receiver. But that would be third on my list. I'd want a pass rusher first and a corner second. Because if you get a good pass rusher, that helps the corner. If you have a good corner, it doesn't help the pass rushers as much. Yeah, a little symbiotic, but not completely. But everybody's got one. I mean, they were talking about Myles Garrett. They were like, Cleveland basically said, you ain't got enough money for this one, picks wise. So I don't see them trading it. Why do you think Defoe has played so little? Asked Brad. I think the new staff likes him as a special teamer, but not in the on the field. I mean, it's pretty, or else they'd play him. Daniel, just curious if you had checked out Jay or John Gruden's YouTube. No, I don't have time for that. They do. I know they do solo coaching. Brent, yeah, still on the four runners. Great pick to be worth more than $4,000. Well, I did take care of it. I mean, the outside looks like hell, but the inside, well, I kind of got beat up too. But the engine's kind of whatever. But it's not bad. All right, Todd. I don't watch. You're right. I don't watch much college football. I see a little Maryland. Maryland's a 25.5 point underdog against Oregon, so I'm not expecting much there. I listen to Johnny Holiday a lot of times too, just to hear. I listen to Johnny more and I listen to the game. Joshua, do you think picking up anyone will disrupt what we have going on? That's a great question. And that's something you really have to think about because, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, some of these parts of the team are a little broke. So, but yeah, an outsider. But I'll say this, if you get a guy with a troubled past come in during the season, typically they're good through the season because they're too busy to get in any trouble. They don't know anybody here, that kind of thing. They're just consumed with football. Now in the off season, that's when things happen. So if you're just picking them up for the rest of this year, you can do that. But otherwise, multi-terms, that's the hard part. That's the off season where they get in trouble. Because now they got time to think about things and go spend their money. Randolph, 7-2. Do we really need to trade for anyone? No, you're just trying to. If you can get a little better, you try. But you don't have to. Teddy Strongbear. Ooh, like that name. Can we sweep the Cowboys? Yes, going to sweep them all the way. Now the quarterback's out too. Yeah. Ryan, didn't Zorn get fired on the golf course? No. Spurrier called in and quit from the golf course, but Zorn didn't play golf like that. Brent, first and second for Travis Hunter if he falls. It's too rich for my blood. I think Peters would never trade a 1 and a 2 like that. Isn't it crazy Josh Harris became everything Snider wanted to be, Brad? Yeah, I saw him laughing coming into the tunnel yesterday. After that win, just having a good old time. Hate to tell Josh, it's not always like this. But then Josh owned the team last year and saw 8 straight losses. So he knows about it. And I'm sure he likes beating New York fans just as well. Craziest thing was the Yankees fans stealing the glove off the Dodgers outfielder. Could have filed charges against them for assault. They're lucky they didn't do that to them. But I've never seen that happen. Daniel, Captain Kirk put the Cowboys down for the season. Yep. That's just a shame. America's not the same with the Cowboys losing. It's better. How do you feel about the next 2 games, James? I think they lose to Pittsburgh and they beat Philly. I mean, if you want an opinion, there you go. Somebody's just texting me now about a new pizza place. All right. That's what the ding was. How far do you think we'll go this year, Joshua? I'd say they win a playoff game, and then it's kind of tough when you get to the NFC semifinals. You don't want to play Detroit until you get to the final. And last time they played Detroit in the final, they won. Of course, it's 91. I covered that game. Shows you how long I've been around. Daniel, I thought it was Belsey. No, that wasn't Belsey. Belsey's over here. He's being quiet right now. Quiet, Belsey. We're not at the end of the show yet. All right. So I agree with James. Philly, listen, Philly's ready to, they're finally showing up to be what we thought they'd be. Last time we got a record this good, which was 08, played Pittsburgh, lost, and everything fell off the rail. See, I don't remember that part of it exactly. I've covered, I was trying to think the other day, how many games have I covered? Maybe around 600, something like that over the years for this. So I don't remember games individually as well. Now, if you show me a box score and I look at it, I can sometimes remember a lot more, but just off the top of my head, no. Brent, and maybe that's one reason why retirement's calling me at some point here, because memory starts to fade, and I don't want to look stupid at the end. Brent, let's see. I remember being on. Yeah, I was on Rich Chandler's chat. Yeah, I gave Rich his job in the business, first job in this business. I got him to write for the team paper that wasn't owned by the team, but it was about the team. And I was the editor then, and still am. It's called Command Post now. And I gave Rich his first one as a columnist for us, writing historical stuff. He used that to show his way to, he had his website. He worked very hard. Rich worked very hard. And then he got the eye of TV people, and then got a job there and did great work. And I was, I saw Rich a couple of days before he died, and I remember thinking, wow, he doesn't look good at all. But by November, a lot of beat people look tired because they've been hitting it almost every day since July. And I just didn't think about it. And he unfortunately passed away. I believe, a heart attack in his car. And I was honored to be one of the people to carry the casket to the grave. He was a great guy. And everybody remembering Rich really makes me happy. I hope you remember me as well as you guys remember Tandler. Tandler taught me something that I use today. I taught him a lot about covering the team, but he taught me, remember that readers and now viewers are your customers. Treat your customers right, and they'll remember you. So that's why I say thank you on all my videos, because I do appreciate everybody watching. Friday's 4th anniversary, about 20 million views. I never expected that. I mean, I gave it a try after being laid off again, and it did very well. People come up all the time. I'm glad to say hello to you, especially at the stadium. Stadium gets some weird stuff goes on. When they go, Rick Snider's Washington. It's cool. I appreciate it. Better than being ignored. So, Brandon, yeah, we're doing well. And everybody remembers, Pete, who covers Navy and Baltimore more. But he was on 980 for a while. Pete, radio broadcasters, had surgery a couple of days ago to remove a brain tumor. And I hear he's doing well, for those of you wondering. Pete's a great guy. About my age. I don't have a brain, so I don't have to worry about that part. I got other problems. But I'm feeling better now. So I'm actually feeling the best I've felt in a year. New meds. Things are going well. Charles, Philly is overrated. I don't know about that, man. But they almost got beat by the Browns, but then Baltimore is a really good team, and they did get beat by the Browns, which I didn't get that one. So, James remembers all the Super Bowl teams. Well, I do remember the Super Bowls. That was, 83 was awesome. I think 91 was the best of the three teams, probably then 83 and then 87. Brent in Oklahoma. Okay. It's always nice to have, always amazing how people everywhere like this team. I mean, I'd say I have several hundred people following me on Twitter from Europe. And I used to think they were American, like military abroad, but no, it's just they're growing the game in Europe. I used to do a radio show every week in Hawaii, in Honolulu. Did it for grins. It was like a 6 a.m. It was noon here, 6 a.m. there. And I asked the guy, really, do you think people will listen to this? He goes, listen, you got to remember, Honolulu is military. These guys are all back from the U.S. and they love football and they're always listening. I thought, yeah, it makes sense, actually. So, wow, halfway through the show already. I'm not even going to bother. We're going to do a push for Thanksgiving Christmas sales soon enough. I'll skip it tonight. Let's see. James, thanks. Appreciate it. Clayton, I read an article of what if Aaron Donald came out of retirement to Washington? Well, I haven't heard anything about that. He'd be probably welcome, I guess. But, Federi Mathis had a concussion yesterday. Federi Mathis is a huge man. I mean, so is Johnny Newton. They're kind of two of the same thing. And Duran, he's a giant. D linemen are huge human beings. So for somebody to whack them for a concussion, they had to really hit that guy. Last time went 7-2, Daniel. Well, they were 6-2 with Zorn, and I thought my God, did they luck out and get an idiot savant or something here? And then I don't know what the hell. 7-2. They were 7-1 under Norv in '96. They finished 9-7 and lost the tiebreaker and didn't go to the playoffs. It just all went bad. And that was the last RFK season, right? Yeah, '96. It was strange. They won the last game, so that just shows you they went 1-7 at one point there, and then won the last game. That was crazy. RFK thing was overriding everything. Cook was not at that last game. It didn't feel well. Couldn't make it. Was it Alex or RG3? Well, I think because Alex, they were 6-3 when he got hurt. RG3, they had to win a bunch, 4 or 5 at the end. They were 5-6, and they won their last 5. These are the kind of things I can remember. So they weren't 7-1. This team hasn't really been like a 7-2 team that's kicked a bunch of butts along the way from the beginning since '91. That was the last time they really played with house money early. The 5 playoff teams that all made it all had to do life and death winning streaks at the end. So we haven't seen a team like this since '91, where they're just starting to kick everybody. Let's see. If Washington wins and Detroit loses to Houston, then the Coms would have the number 1 seed. Yeah, but with 7 games to go, so it's nice to think about. But you'd rather play here than there. Teddy Strongbear. Well, at a minimum, we'll finish with a winning record. That's nice. I agree with that. Last time that happened, was it 6 years ago? I think that's what it was. They had a 9-7. John Maloney. Let's see. Who's the guy who's the Saturday Night Live guy? That's not John Maloney, is it? The guy, he's really funny. So I hope you are too. Graded a secondary C+. Do you think they'll trade for DB tomorrow? I am going to do midseason grades this week. They'll come out Wednesday. I mean, it's a 9 games out of 17. It's kind of midseason. And I do flash grades at the end of every game. A lot of people look at them. So they're flash grades. I can be wrong because you have to I do it as soon as the gun hits and the old days, the gun hits. And but I just thought they didn't have a great game. I think they'll kick the tires on a DB. I think it'd be too rich for them, be my guess. They could use one, though. But if I had to get a guy, I'd get an edge rusher first. That'll help the St. Juiced. Joshua, when did the first year of Zorn start off so well? Well, I think it was more schedule than anything with Zorn. And a little bit of nobody knew quite what to do. And they got a little lucky. But everybody figured him out really quick. And then they couldn't win after that. He went 2-6, and then the next year they were 4-12, I think it was. So something like that. And then Snider undermined him every chance he could get. They wanted him to quit. And I remember telling Zorn was really thinking about quitting midway through that second year. And he was only getting $1.5 million a year, if I remember, something like that. But, I talked to Jim on the side some, and I just told Jim, don't you let Snider keep your money and quit. Screw that. Screw him. Every Monday you go there, you pick up your check, and you laugh. Back then you picked up your check. And you laugh and say, I bet another week I got more of your money. So don't be giving up that money because that's your kids' money and your grandkids' money. And so he didn't. But not because I told him to, but I just persevere through these weeks. Do you think the team will let us down in the past? Joshua, I think not, and I'll tell you why. This team has got several ways it can beat you, including how they beat the Giants yesterday. That was a classic 80s, 90s NFC East smash mouth kind of game. Both sides stood there and said, I'm going to run over your butt. I'm going to kick your butt. You're free to try and stop me. And both sides said that, and both had their chances. Both of them threw some haymakers. That was impressive. Giants were desperate to win this game. And they had their moments of dominance on both sides. But I liked how Washington said, no, you're not. They didn't fold. They went there just as physical. That was a different way to win. They didn't have Robinson. They went with a different type of running game with things. They ran the ball like crazy instead of having, the throws were great. He made some great throws in there, but they won that game because they could run. This team can do lots of different things. They're not great at a lot of stuff, but they're good, and the backups have been good. So I think that's why I don't think they'll fold on this one. If they get 4-4 down the end, does everybody feel bad? Tough schedule. I still think It's like the Baltimore loss. People walked away from that going, "Hey man, they gave it a decent shot. That's a great team they lost to." Roberto, all the way from deep South Texas. I don't know what 956 is, but okay. Appreciate you coming. I've been to San Antonio. That's as far deep as I've gone. It was 100 degrees hotter than the sidewalks to hell, but it was a cool place. I did like that. San Antonio is a cool place. Just Moody, thank you for kicking in. See, every guy's trying to just keep Rick afloat. I've been nonstop for how many hours now? It's been crazy, but I still have time for you guys from 8 to 9. 9:01. You know, tomorrow night, I don't know how late I'm staying up. I have a feeling I'm going to go to bed before we hear who wins because I'm getting tired. I got to be up early again tomorrow too. They said you're busier in retirement than when you worked. Well, I'm doing both. Semi-retired and I'm working, and the days go by, but it's better than having nothing to do. Brandon, this weekend's game against Pittsburgh will be a good test and marker where they are. Agreed. Pittsburgh's not the best team. I think 6-2 is a little overvalued for what they really are. I think they're more of a 5-3-4-4 team, but hey, Tomlin's a great coach. He's squeezing out wins. Win this one, and you're still, there's a lot of respect from people on that. It's just it's an AFC team, so it doesn't count as much. But win when you can win. Never apologize for winning. I guess Kansas City games get ready to start. Good. I'll try and watch some of that. I like watching the Chiefs. Not because I look like Andy Reid. Turns out they have an Andy Reid contest during the game for people. They gather to, like Santa or something. And I've seen a few Andy Reids. People think I look like Andy Reid. I have seen some dead ringers for Andy Reid they showed in the stands. I was like, I couldn't compete with that. So Andy comes on the show once in a while for those of you who watch the 2-minute shows and likes to comment on things. At Andy. He always thinks this is his show somehow. And Santa's been around lately too. So yeah, if you watch the 2-minute shows, they're on 6 a.m. I have it auto set. And then dinner time, whenever the news, is going on, whenever it's a little bit different times per day with time coach and all talk on there. I'm going to have a video coming up about Team of Rivals, how Quinn has done something that Abraham Lincoln did. Lincoln had 3 guys ran against Lincoln for president, and he beat them all, and then he made them all cabinet members, and they all became some of his best friends and advocates. Team of Rivals. Well, Quinn, one of the great things Quinn did is he picked a lot of guys up he'd never worked with before, and they had divergent opinions, and they blended this all together. He had never worked with Kingsbury. He had competed against them. And, picking an offensive coordinator you don't know personally takes some guts, because if that guy sucks, he gets you fired. Ask Ron about that. So I give Quinn a lot of credit for doing a Team of Rivals kind of thing. So I'm going to talk about that coming up soon. Did Noah Brown show up at number 2? Absolutely, Brent. I mean, he did better than I thought he would. Okay, he was the guy that won the game on the Hail Mary. That's as much luck as skill, but a little both. But he's given them a good number 2 option to get away from Terry as much. They don't really have a 3. I mean, as I said earlier, I thought Ertz at tight end would be their 3, and he's had some catches, but if they could have a really good 3, that would be a big deal for them. All right. So, all right. And Seasons of Discontent, by the way, my podcast will be up in the next hour. We decided to do it Monday instead of Tuesday because I don't think anybody's going to be really watching sports stuff tomorrow. It's a different game going on at 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll all watch it. It's like watching a car accident. You got to watch this for a while. And finally, like 10, 11 o'clock, you just go, screw it, man. I got to go to work in the morning. We'll see who won when I wake up. I don't think it's going to be, neither side's going to be winning at 8 o'clock like, say, Reagan did. As a matter of fact, they called the race for Reagan. I did my college final thesis on this. The networks called the race before the California polls closed. And kind of influenced it because if you're in California, for instance, and you heard who won the president's race, well, if you're going to go vote, why bother? He's already won. So that was a big deal. That actually went to some legislation, and networks can't call the race before all the polls close, at least there. So, but it's still going to be a while. And the advance, I like how everybody gets to do advance voting if they want. To me, this is not like Einstein talking here. To me, if you have advanced voting, you can by however you do it, you should cut it off like 2 days before the election. Count all that stuff up, and then Tuesday morning you got those numbers ready to go with the live stuff coming in, and you can call the everything at that point. That doesn't seem like a hard idea on there. Who had the biggest landslide, Reagan or Nixon? Oh, Reagan. Reagan destroyed Carter. So I mean, Obama had a pretty good one over McCain too. I like John McCain; he was a good man. Just that wasn't going to happen to him. I miss the days of when, if you didn't vote for the guy, the president, you still respected him. I didn't vote for certain presidents. I respected them though, and I supported my president because I look at it this way: no matter who wins Tuesday, they're going to be the next president. I want to see them do well. Because if they do well, we do well. If you're going against them and wanting to see chaos and have them fail, then you're asking America to take a step back. I'm not for that. I'm for, so whoever wins, hopefully it's my candidate, but if not, I hope the next guy wins and does so well that I say, God, I was totally wrong about that guy. There's my political speech. I'm not telling you who I'm voting for tomorrow. Because nothing good comes of that. Matter of fact, there was a thing came in the mail to my house the other day from some political interest group. It said, "Here's, I can't say how they voted, but here's all your neighbors and did they vote or not? Because we want you to shame them into going to vote." I thought, "F you! Who the hell is this?" Maryland Attorney General shut that down in a day, and they defiantly said, "We're here to help America." That kiss my ass, don't doing the election kind of stuff like that. Let's just have a fair race. Let's let them all vote, and whoever wins, wins. And I know they cheated this. We're too addicted to name calling in this country anymore. I'd like to see an ad where they say, "Here's what I'm going to do for America." Okay, great. Now I can decide if I want to vote for you or not. Not that other guy sucks, so you have to vote for me. Jeez. All right. Anyway, let's get back to football. I talk about this too much. Todd, I'm going to watch YouTube on election night. Oh, I guess it would be live, huh? I was just going to watch regular channels. Yeah, sick of the ads on TV. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Well, hopefully there won't be any more tomorrow because it'll be over with. Probably listen to Christmas music. No, you have to wait on Christmas music. You got to wait till Black Friday. Can't take this stuff too quickly. John, biggest improvement is the QB, O-line, and turning the ball over. All agree with all of that. Yeah, absolutely. That would be my order too. Brent, live as long as you want and never want as long as you live. There you go. That sounds smart. Not sure what that means, but don't make my head hurt, Brent. I've been working for like 36 hours. Well, I did go to sleep for a little while. Roberto, Chiefs 34-21, Bucks hoping Bucks can knock off the streak. Well, I don't know. Tampa confuses me. Sometimes I think they're a pretty decent team, and sometimes they're awful. And that's kind of the NFL way. But Tampa's confused me too much this year. William, even though we won yesterday, the Giants ran all over us. True. Showing vulnerable. I agree. They need an edge rusher to help offset some of that. They got to play a better run defense. You can win in November, December. You can't win in January that way because all the teams will just keep knocking you off that way. William, even though I'm sorry. James, I'm going to check out the Monday night game. Have a good night. James, you can't leave yet. Oh, just put the sound off on the game. You can watch the game unless you're watching YouTube on TV. Yeah. Chiefs 30, Tampa Bay 17. All right. I can live with that one because that covers the spread. Not that I bet it. I don't personally bet on games I bet on horses when I get a chance. Okay. All right, James is staying with us for the last 20 minutes. There you go, or 15, whatever it is on there. So if you guys want to kick in, most of the people watch the show for 15 minutes. So we go over the same stuff a lot. And then I say the same thing. I beg for money a couple of times in the show. So if you can hit that $sign on the YouTube page there, definitely would appreciate that. Uh, so, and if you can't, well, if you can't, hit the thumbs up button, because if nothing else, it doesn't cost you a penny and it helps me on the algorithm. So, and if you can't even do that, then go watch something else. Ungrateful. So I'll be doing a show through the Super Bowl, and then we'll see what goes on after that. I got a lot of different things going on that I'll talk about more at the end of the season. But we're still here for however more weeks. I don't know, we've had a show ever since late July, every Monday. Season's going by quick enough. It always does. Always amazes me. Let's see. Somebody just sent me pizza with vegan options. What kind of hate mail is this? Vegan. I tried that cauliflower crust. I'm too tired to say cauliflower. But I tried it. Cauliflower. I know I'm tired. I can't say the word now. I tried it. The taste was okay, but it didn't have any substance to it. Teddy, is Terps B-ball going to be good? That's the rumor. I've been watching Terps basketball since 1973, when they had those great teams, McMillan, Elmore, and all. And I went to Maryland, and I've always liked. But this NIL thing last year destroyed this team. I couldn't tell who was playing where, when, what. They stunk, and I hope that's not what the future is. But it's like every year is going to be a new team, and I really hate that. You love watching players grow on things. So many of them over the years. One of my favorite players, Terps, was Grievous Vasquez. I covered a couple of those teams a lot, and I loved Grievous. He was great. But the national championship team, those guys hung around. All right, Brent, I hope you keep going. Yeah, I listen. Watching this team win has been great. This is my last season. We'll talk about later, but it's kind of fun. But then the other part of me says, "Damn, I've been through all the bad years. I want to see the good stuff." And that is why I'm still doing this, because when Dan Snider left, I said things are going to get better. I want to stick around and watch, but we'll see how long that is. It's not my choice, to be honest. Todd, Derek Queen, 20 points and 20 rebounds tonight for the Terps. Really? I mean, Manhattan's nothing. So, but okay. What more do you need to see this season to say, okay, they're a Super Bowl contender now, Josiah? Actually, I said that today in my video, Josiah. I said, I'm in now. I think you should make a trade if you got something there and go all in and try and win a Super Bowl this year. Can they? They're going to need to step up a little more, but that doesn't mean they can't. And I think this is one of those teams that's got a shot. It doesn't mean this team will next year. Got different players, different season, different schedule. Things aren't always the best. I mean, look at where Quinn was before. He got to the Super Bowl and then it fell down. So when you get a chance, you go for it. It's not easy to do it in 1 year. Teams don't usually do, but they got a chance. I've seen enough. Yesterday confirmed it to me. When they can win a smash mouth game, now I knew that they could be in any fight. When you have a great quarterback, you always have a chance anyway. And the last 2 weeks have shown that. James, an old neighbor behind him was a pilot, and he flew Dean Smith on a few occasions. Woo! I hated Dean Smith because growing up a Terp fan, your big rival back in the 70s and 80s was Carolina. It wasn't Duke. And so we hated Carolina. And so we hated Dean Smith. God rest his soul. He was a good basketball coach, no doubt of that. He's the only guy that ever held Jordan under 20 points a game. That's the old joke on that. Yeah, it's not like Lefty. I loved Lefty. Lefty and my father were pretty close. My dad was 6'5" and bald like Lefty. And my dad was from Carolina, just like Lefty. So I always had a soft spot for lefty. Isaiah, thank you so much for kicking in. See, it's just $1, but you know what? That's the first dollar toward the next million. So I do appreciate it. Todd, yeah, Lefty and Dean. Lefty, man, he could talk some smack. He was funny. I know, I know. I mean, I got a million Lefty stories. Lefty used to like uncooked bacon on his pizza. He ate at Lido's every day with his staff. He took them to Lido's every day for 20 years. Now, every day they were in town. Uh, and he always had uncooked bacon put on it because Lefty and I talked about this once. I did a story on Lido 50th anniversary, and Lefty told me about it. Now it's been the original Lido people are all gone, and it's not quite the same anymore. And the franchise is not the same as the main one. Mojo, Jack Kent Cook's last year's owner was 96, right? He died April of 97. Just got back from Disney World with my family, walked in my house. The phone's ringing. It's my partner from the Washington Times. And he says, "Hey, Cook's died." And I thought, yeah, screw you. I'm just getting home from vacation. You're just playing with me. No, really, Cook just died. Oh, man. Next thing I know, it was like a week later. I'm at a funeral. Whew, that was brutal. I liked Cook. He was hard on all of us. We didn't work for him, but we were he's still the boss in a way. I could do a lot of Cook stories over time, but we only got 10 minutes left, so I'm not. Can I sing the Commander song? No. The left hand up thing I think is fine. It's organic. What I like about left hand up in a way, it's not some Madison Avenue, marketing agency came up with this idea. Fans came up with the idea. So I like that. I don't have, usually when they score, I'm writing down notes about things. So I don't listen to the song as much. I know they're trying to do a Hail to the Redskins, but they call Hail to the Commanders. So they're trying to get there compromise wise. James B, was I at Cook's funeral? Absolutely. Media had to stand in the parking lot about 100 feet away. But I do have I have been to his grave since then. We couldn't go right then. We could go later. And I've been by his grave a couple of times. Has just a plain big brass marker on the ground. Just says Jack Kent Cook in the years he lived, born and died. That's all. You'd figure Cook would have had like a pyramid or something, on that. Buried in a little church in Virginia. So, yeah, by God. Cook would call me up at night, sometimes to yell at me, but sometimes just to talk because he was so lonely. He didn't have anybody to talk to. So he'd call me. And one time we talked for an hour about my vending machine business. I owned a bunch of gumball machines. And he and I talked business a lot. And he would tell me stories about stuff. You're sitting there kind of wondering, like, where's this going? But he just wanted somebody to talk to. So he always said, never have partners in business. I agree with him on that because my partner, I want a partner in business who said, "Hey, fat boy, it's 6 a.m. What are you doing in bed? Let's go make money." That's who I want for a partner. You can't find that guy. And I'm not dragging someone else with me. So I have business ventures. I have various ones. I don't have partners. And Cook was right about that. Fire 120. Having a good day. Absolutely. Every day you're alive, I'm happy. Dwight, thank you so much for kicking in. I do appreciate it. I don't know if I like retirement or not, but I don't get a choice in some of this. But I have retirement for me is working on projects of more. I have a bunch of different things that I do, and I still tour guide. If you're coming to DC, you want to go, not on inauguration day. I've had a couple of requests for that. No. But but if you want to see Washington, go to monumentalthoughts.com. That's my tour guide blog. And you can see all stuff around Washington. We can go wherever you want. Mojo, Chase Young from Marshawn Lattimore. Yeah, okay. Well, of course they can't because Chase. I've seen the pictures of Marshawn Lattimore at the airport with Dan Quinn or then arriving at Dulles Airport. They're all faked. It took me half a second to go, what is this? Oh, wait. Favorite fall comfort meal, Brad? I like soup, can't eat bean soup anymore because of diabetes, but I like clam chowder hot, No, I was thinking that yesterday. I was watching the Fox pregame show because I didn't go to New York. I don't get paid to travel now. And I hadn't seen a Fox pregame show hardly at all this season. Always have stuff to do, or I'm at the stadium, home games, and I was just sitting there eating a soup and watching the pregame show. And I thought, man, this is cool. I like doing this. I don't get to do it much. I love Fox. Not a big CBS guy. Which this week, CBS, the Eagle is doing the announcing this week. And I like him. He's actually good. But I'll be at the game, so I won't hear him. JMZ, I should have talked to Cook more. Well, I mean, we all were. The great thing with Cook was you could pick up the phone and call Cook, and he would, if he wasn't available right then, he would call you back shortly after. He liked the press. He liked writers. He was a big reader. Cook would say, you guys have heard me tell a story before. Maybe some of you haven't. Cook made his first money selling encyclopedias door to door in Canada. And he would give me a hard time about the Oxford comma and why newspapers should use it. We don't, because I think we're saving ink. But he'd say, I started in my career with encyclopedias. Doesn't mean you read them, but I said, well, big deal. How many letters were back then? 7, 8? And I get a lecture. And I get a lecture about being a smart guy. Cook would give you crap like that. But you can zing them once in a while, too. I don't remember Cook selling the Lakers so much, James. I know about it. I didn't watch that HBO series about it because I don't have time. I'm busy. So I hear Ted Lasso's now been green-lighted to come back again. So that'd be cool. I like that show. I don't watch a lot of sports. Anyway, I watch what I have to watch, and that's enough. I don't even know what I'm watching tonight. I like Tulsa King. Anybody's watching that? And we had somebody here from Oklahoma. Tulsa King with Stallone. That's an awesome show. I do like that. Watching The Lioness, catching up on that. I tend to watch the stuff on the streaming apps on there. The Reba show's got a little work to do, but it'll get there. Bucks just took the lead on the Chiefs. Well, the Chiefs haven't been kicking everybody's butt, EW, but we'll see what the score is at the end of the game. Matthew, what do you mean the new season of Tulsa King is bad? It's not as good as last year, but it's still good. I like my shows violent. Whatever. So, all right, what we got? 5 minutes. All right, ask your last questions. Send your last money in. Whatever. And then we're all going to go watch 24 hours of political shows and call it a night. Last year was good, first year. Yeah, the second year is not quite, but we still got a little more time left, right? I just watched the show from yesterday. All right. Brent, how do you think I will be on the team when they beat? How do you think you'll be when they beat Pittsburgh? Either drunk or happy. Which one? Or both? Do you think we'll have 2 home playoff games this year, EW? I'll say no. Is pizza my favorite food, Matthew? You haven't been watching enough of these episodes, huh? Yeah. Had a heart attack in 2002. Used to be a red meat eater. And after a heart attack, it's like I got rewired. I'm now rather eat seafood on there. I can eat a variety of seafood. Matter of fact, I had a seafood boil after the game yesterday for the family came over. So I was trying to get my young grandson to try clams. He didn't look like a big fan. They need a big win against a big name franchise, Brent. I mean, yeah, that's how you get the respect. That's how you get some more players in the Pro Bowl when they beat some of these big teams. Let's see. Matthew lives in Fort Lauderdale now, 25 years. All right, nice place. I've been there. Been a while, but I like Fort Lauderdale fine. Let's see. Oh, okay. Wasn't Marshawn? All right. I forget. I just saw it in passing. I knew it wasn't believable. EW. I'll just take a home playoff. I think they'll get one. 99 against Detroit. Yeah, they beat them in. Trey Johnson gave some guy the business, according to the ref, when the penalty came. That's the only playoff win like that. Shrimp and crab reviews, Teddy. Yeah. I can't eat pizza I can't eat pizza forever, but I eat pizza like once a week. And I'll tell you why. Because I had the heart attack, and then a year and a half later, I had to have open heart surgery, which, thank God, knock on wood, has gone well. But the doc came up to me and I said, "Why do I have to have open heart surgery?" I said, "I lost like 60 pounds since the heart attack. I did everything they said. My cholesterol's great." And he said, "This is genetics, man. You have nothing to do with it." Well, then I'm going to go back to having pizza and beer. He goes, "Well, don't do that." I said, "But you just said it was genetics and nothing I had to eat. Pick a side." You know, doctors. They want you to be like grizzly, the bears. You eat salmon and drink water. You ever seen a skinny bear? So, so I learned life's short, eat something, that you want to eat here and there, not just all salads. It gets old. Fire's just glad to be 7-2. You don't want to be 8-1. No. Yeah, there's a couple games they could have lost too there. So the record is pretty good about they are what their record says they are. Brandon, any word on Cornelius Lucas? No, Wednesday we'll hear more about that. But listening to Quinn talk today, the days of Lucas and Coleman splitting time, I think, are over. I think Coleman now is pretty much the full-time guy. EW, 99 was a great team. I loved it. I was a beat writer on that team. A lot of great guys. The bad snap, I don't know if it would have done it. That's the interesting part of that. Down in Tampa, I think it was like a 52-yarder or so. Dan Turk screwed the snap up, and so they never got to kick it. So we don't know. Brett Conway was the kicker. He wasn't a long-distance guy. I'd say it was 50-50 when he would have made it. But, Dan was just – I talked to Dan after the game, heading to the bus, and he was just manic. And then, unfortunately, Dan was diagnosed with testicular cancer a month later and died later the year. She had a terrible ending on that. Dan Snider liked to say he fired Dan Turk, but his contract was up. But yeah, he passed away before the last game that season. Sad. So yeah, it's sad when ex-players I know die, and they're younger men. So, all right, it is 9:01. Woo! Yes, I'm done working. I'm done for 8 hours. Anyway, so everybody, thank you so much for coming. Do appreciate it. I hope everybody, I hope your candidate wins tomorrow. I don't know who that is, but hopefully you're happy with whatever happens. I hope I'm happy with whatever happens. And if not, I'll just go to work Wednesday and we'll work it out. So EW, thank you for coming. Steve, thanks for always coming. You're always here to the end. I do appreciate everybody here. The video's up 6 a.m. and dinner time every day through this season, and then we'll see. And then Seasons of Discontent podcast is on YouTube. Should be up anytime now. If you missed some of this show, you want to see the earlier part because, God, it was awesome. You just wait till this ends and give YouTube a few minutes, and it'll be ready to hit it again. And that's it. So anyway, I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'll see you again soon.